back, everyone. You know the Minions are taking over Hollywood and the big screen. We're here to talk about Minions and Monsters. Our Bart and Jennifer Mills, our local movie reviewers. Welcome, Bart and Jen.
Good morning.
All right, so comedy, action. I think this is the 7th film, maybe?
This is the 7th film in the series. Yes, Pierre Coffin is the director and co-producer or co-creator of the original series. This all started with Despicable Me. And the Minions have been sort of everywhere in our lives for 16 years now, believe it or not. And this one is a sort of an homage to the Universal Studios from which they came and their history as a classic home of horror movies. So, you know, Universal famously had all the Boris Karloff movies and everything else. So this starts off with two Minions, Frank and, I wrote down the names because I knew it. Frank and Henry, or James and Henry, sorry. Okay. James and Henry are the two Minions in this one. Apparently, if you dive deep enough, there's multiple teams of Minions, so this isn't from the other Minions team. But these guys have spent most of their very, very, very long lives, like all Minions, trying to find a villain they can serve. And they end up in the most obvious of places, Hollywood. And
that's where all the villains
are. And so this follows them through. They start off in this really wonderful scene with sort of an old Hollywood museum, and then it takes them back into the time when they were themselves silent screen stars and trying to make their own monster movie. And there's a lot of in between. It's just kind of the typical chaos that is a Minions movie. But in between, we get sort of some wonderful voice cameos from like Alice and Janney. We get Christopher Waltz playing a old-time German director, which is perfect, and twin studio heads, both voiced by Jeff Bridges. So all in all, it's a Minions movie.
Yeah, so these little yellow creatures, they're cute, they're funny, you know. I'm guessing the kids are going to love this movie, but what about the parents? Is it good for the parents as well?
Well, I just don't know how you can go wrong with a Minions movie. I absolutely love the Minions. It never fails to make me laugh. I mean, you know, they're like Laurel and Hardy, Abbott and Costello. There's a lot of slapstick. This one actually has quite a few cameos, old Hollywood cameos, because of the fact that, you know, that's where this movie is based. So you've got cameos from Buster Keaton, Charlie Chaplin, you know, so they're pulling in all that comedy too. So, yeah. Can't go wrong for adults.
Oh, this is great. So this movie is rated PG. It's also 1 hour and 29 minutes. A good length there. I'm going to go to a critic review. This critic said it's not a laugh riot. However, it's a chuckle fest. So I'm guessing that's probably because it's the 7th movie, maybe?
Well, actually, a lot of the critics are saying that this is the funniest one since the original Despicable Me. So...
Yeah, this is, you know, because the fun part about this from a critic's perspective is it is an homage to old Hollywood. There's a lot of really fun insider, you know, for adults, you ask about what's for adults. There's always these great insider references the kids aren't going to get. You know, most 4-year-olds aren't really as familiar with the catalog of Buster Keaton as we'd like them to be. And so, but for the adults, it's a lot of fun, especially those of us who are cinephiles. So, you know, there's a lot in there for that. And that's why some of the critics really like it right now, is because it really is, you can't go wrong with shining a mirror on Hollywood when it comes to critics.
All right, so let's go to my favorite website, which is, of course, Rotten Tomatoes. All right, Rotten Tomatoes gave it a pretty good high critic rating of 89%. However, the audience approval rating went down just a little bit at 79%. So it's still pretty high.
Well, once again, we're going to point out all the trolls on Flying Tomatoes and why you get these really strange ratings for movies like this.
Yeah, but yeah, I think generally it's going to be one of those. If little kids love it just because it's a Minions movie. So, and the adults who have to take them are the ones who probably write the reviews, and some of them are fed up having to go to kids' movies.
All right, so I think I know what you're going to say, but we're going to go to the big reveal here. Are we going to give it a thumbs up, a thumbs down, or just somewhere in the middle?
2 thumbs up from me.
Yeah, I think it's a thumbs up. I mean, again, if you have kids especially, it's a good, it's a good time for them. They'll love it. Once again, I will recommend, you know, whatever the show time is, wait about 20 minutes before you show up, because there's always a half an hour worth of stuff going on. And having a child in the theater for 2 hours is punishment for you end for us. But otherwise, go see it. It's a lot of fun, and kids ought to be in theaters.
All right,
Yep.
so 2 big thumbs up for Minions and Monsters. Well, Bart and Jennifer Mills, thanks for coming out today. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Well, don't go away because we have more when we return.